And welcome to BizAfrica. Here's what we have coming up ahead. The Egyptian central bank has relaxed its restriction on foreign currency transfers abroad. A central bank official said this on Tuesday. Now allows individuals to make a one-time transfer abroad of up to $100,000 in this calendar year. Under the currency transfer restrictions brought in after the 2011 unrest against Hosni Mubarak, the central bank set an open-ended $100,000 limit on the amount of hard currency an individual could transfer abroad. A central bank letter circulated to banks and posted on the bank's website said the change would take effect from January of this year and could not be applied retroactively. It aimed to facilitate bank dealings and meet customers' needs. The central bank said the change applied only to 2014 without saying what systems would apply after that. Under the old regulations, individuals could transfer only a total of $100,000 in foreign currency throughout their lives. All right, for more on this, we're joined live by Yasser Hakim, who's with us from Cairo. Thank you for joining us today, Yasser. There seems to be a positive outlook from international credit rating agencies concerning the Egyptian economy. However, the foreign currency reserve witnessed a drop of about $1.5 billion in the last 2 months. Can you tell us, where has this money been spent?
Yes, first of all, you've got two countries that Egypt was indebted to, and because of political differences, they have asked for their money back on time instead of extending the loan, and those are Qatar and Turkey. And Qatar had received $2 billion, Turkey $1 billion, there's another $1 billion up in a couple of months. This is one lot. The other is the payment for petroleum imports, very crucial strategic product for Egypt. And Egypt had to pay off some debts as well for petroleum companies. And then finally, you've got the stimulus package that was announced by the government, a $7 billion stimulus package for the economy. And part of it, a small fraction, about $1 billion, was taken from the foreign currency reserves. So you've got a whole set of expending that took place in the last couple of months that had an effect on the foreign currency reserves.
Why then would Egypt relax controls on the dollar when the currency reserves are actually dwindling?
Yes, before there was a lot of control because there were fears that the dollars would go out of the country, and that's what actually happened. Now the economy is beginning to stable. The politics is stabilizing step by step, and there's no fear of more dollars going out or more hard currency leaving the country for two reasons. First of all, that the big conglomerate businessmen who wanted to leave already left. So who's left in Egypt are mainly the small savings families and small companies that if they wanted to take dollars or hard currency out of the country, they would have done so by now. So it will not have an effect on the dollar output in Egypt. Second of all, it also gives a positive message to investors that they can move in and outside the market easily. The exit the market for an investor is more important than entering the market, to make sure that if he needs the money anytime to go out of the country, he can do that. So this is another form of confidence building with foreign investors so they can start recouping their money inside Egypt in the next few months.
All right, we'll have to leave it there for now. Thank you very much. That's Yasser Hakim joining us live from Cairo. As a new McKinsey Global Institute report, Africa at Work job creation and inclusion growth shows that the continent must create wage-paying jobs faster in order to sustain its success and to ensure growth benefits the majority of the people. According to the report, while Africa will create 54 million jobs by 2020, 122 million Africans will have entered the job market by then. This shortfall is a cause of concern now that African business leaders are proposing a Marshall Plan for the continent. Among other things, the plan fronted by the Nigerian billionaire, businessman and philanthropist Tony Elumelu proposes to prioritize 3 independent pillars of development. These pillars work together to form a cycle of growth. For more on this, we go to Mariam Bamard, who's live for us in London. Thank you for joining us today, Mariam. There is an expectation of Africa to create about 54 million jobs by 2020 through the implementation of Africa's Marshall Plan. What are some of the factors that could threaten to derail this?
Well, Jiitu, the idea is to create a framework really similar to what Europe adopted after World War II, with employment lagging, though African governments need to really focus on factors like developing infrastructure, modernizing the business sector, and improving trade. But one of the major factors that isn't discussed enough that could potentially destabilize the entire region is potential spillovers from emerging economies heavily invested in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, with knock-on effects on recovery never more pressing than today on Africa's own recovery and growth story, that's where the focus also needs to be. In fact, just recently, the IMF warned that African commodity producers, including Angola, South Africa, and Democratic Republic of Congo, are just a few that are at risk from a slowdown in countries like China.
Miriam, what sort of policies do we need to see from governments to help reduce operating costs for investors and for businesses?
Well, some of the main costs are actually quite obvious ones. Infrastructure investment, especially in things like power and transportation. Experts like Tony Elumelu, a Nigerian economist, argue that more than 70% of sub-Saharan Africa lacks access to things like electricity. And every 1% increase in electricity outages reduces Africa's per capita GDP by approximately 3%. Now, access to affordable electricity is essential to unlocking growth potential, reducing costs, and boosting growth, including homegrown businesses that create jobs and sustainable local economies. Investors on this end very much agree with that, and certainly support this notion that the right government investment in some of the most basic sectors of African economies can certainly help propel economies across the region, and that's where we need to see the focus in the next 10 to 15 years.
All right, thank you for that. That's Miriam Babard joining us live from London. And we go, lastly now, to the markets to see what we've been tracking here for you at BizAfrica. Closing the day today is Nigerian All-Share Index, which is closing in the green, up 0.72%. We go to the JSE, which is closing the day today, also in the green, up 0.08%. The Nairobi Securities Exchange is posting in the green as well, up 1.06%. And the EGX is closed because, according to the Coptic calendar, today is Christmas. So we hope you enjoy your holiday. And that's it for Business Today.